Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what do I really want? Not just today or tomorrow, but in the grand scheme of life. If you haven't, let me tell you something crucial. Your brain is a powerful tool, but it can't function like a GPS without a destination. Imagine typing just somewhere nice into Google Maps. Where would it take you? Nowhere meaningful. The same applies to your life. Here's the hard truth. If you don't define your goals, you'll drift. Opportunities will pass you by because you won't recognize them when they appear. It's like walking through a treasure-filled maze blindfolded. How will you know when you've struck gold if you don't even know what it looks like? Now, let me ask you this. Do you have a clear, actionable goal written down right now? Think about it. Most people don't. And that's where transformation begins. Your brain is wired to work toward what you focus on. Psychologists call it the reticular activating system, or RAS. It's the mechanism that filters the millions of stimuli around you every second and tells your brain what to notice. For instance, if you've ever bought a car and suddenly started seeing that exact model everywhere, that's your RAS at work. But here's the kicker. If you haven't given your brain a goal to work on, your RAS doesn't know what to look for. It's wasting its potential, like a high-performance engine running in idle. So, what does setting clear goals look like in practice? First, it's not about vague aspirations like, I want to be successful, or I want more money. Those are dreams, not goals. A goal is specific, measurable, and actionable. For instance, instead of saying, I want to save money, you could say, I will save $10,000 in the next 12 months by cutting unnecessary expenses and starting a side hustle. But here's another critical insight. The act of setting goals isn't just about clarity. It's about preparation. When you take the time to define your goals, you're signaling to your brain and the universe, if you believe in that you're ready. And readiness is magnetic. It attracts opportunities, resources, and people who can help you get where you want to go. Let me give you an example. Think of a professional athlete. Do you think they just wake up one day and say, I hope I win a gold medal someday? They know exactly what they want, they train for it, and they prepare for the sacrifices and discipline it will take to achieve it. They envision themselves crossing the finish line, standing on that podium. And that vision fuels them, even on the hardest days. So, ask yourself, are you treating your goals with the same seriousness? If not, why not? What's stopping you from setting a goal today, right now? Is it fear of failure? Is it the uncertainty of how to start? Here's the thing, you don't need to have all the answers yet. But you do need a starting point. Goals are not set in stone, they're stepping stones. They'll evolve as you grow, but you have to take the first step. Now, here's where it gets exciting. The moment you start defining your goals, something magical happens. You start to see the world differently. Opportunities that seemed invisible before suddenly stand out. Ideas that felt out of reach now feel tangible. You become a magnet for success. But don't just take my word for it. Test it. Today, write down one clear, actionable goal. Commit to it. And watch how your focus sharpens, your energy shifts, and your path begins to unfold. Because, let me tell you, the treasure is out there, but only if you know what you're looking for. Now, are you ready to uncover what's next? Stick around because we're just getting started. What if I told you that being wealthy has very little to do with the money in your bank account? Yes, you heard me right. True wealth starts in the mind, long before it shows up in your wallet. The difference between someone who is rich and someone who remains stuck financially often boils down to one key factor: mindset. Let me ask you, how do you see the world? Is it a place of scarcity, where opportunities are few and resources are always running out? Or do you see it as a field of infinite possibilities, where every challenge is a stepping stone and every setback a chance to grow? This perspective isn't just philosophical, it's practical. Your mindset shapes your actions, and your actions create your reality. Here's a common misconception. People think being wealthy means avoiding challenges. In reality, the wealthy embrace challenges. They see them not as obstacles but as puzzles to solve, pathways to growth, and invitations to think creatively. When the average person sees a problem, someone with a wealth mindset sees an opportunity. And that's the shift you need to make if you want to unlock abundance in your life. Take a moment and reflect. How do you react when faced with a challenge? Let's say an unexpected expense pops up. Do you panic and feel defeated? Or do you immediately start brainstorming ways to handle it? Whether that's negotiating, finding an extra source of income, or learning a valuable lesson for the future. The wealthy have trained their minds to default to solutions rather than problems. And guess what? You can train your mind to do the same. But let's get real, this doesn't happen overnight. Developing a wealth mindset takes practice, just like building any other skill. Start by paying attention to your thoughts. Do you catch yourself saying things like, "I can't afford this," or "I'll never make enough money"? If so, it's time to flip the script. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," try asking, "How can I afford it?" That small shift may seem insignificant, but it's like planting a seed in fertile soil. Over time, that seed will grow into a tree of endless possibilities. Let me tell you something else about the wealthy. They don't just think big, they act big. They don't shy away from taking risks, but they don't leap blindly either. They make calculated decisions, understanding that failure is not the opposite of success but part of the journey toward it. When you adopt this mindset, every risk becomes a learning experience, and every failure a stepping stone. Here's an exercise for you. Picture someone you admire who embodies wealth, not just financial wealth, but wealth in their mindset, relationships, and impact on the world. What do they do differently? How do they talk, think, and act? Chances are they're not bogged down by limiting beliefs or a scarcity mentality. Instead, they radiate confidence, creativity, and openness. That's what you're striving for. And the best part? You don't need to wait for external circumstances to change before you start thinking like them. It begins with your decision to shift your perspective. But let's get specific. How do you train your mind to adopt a wealth mindset? One powerful technique is to challenge your assumptions. For example, if you believe that earning more money means working harder, ask yourself, is that really true? Many wealthy people leverage systems, investments, and collaborations to multiply their income without multiplying their hours. Another example, if you think only people with special talents can achieve success, remind yourself that grit, discipline, and resilience often outweigh talent. Another strategy is to surround yourself with examples of abundance. This doesn't mean you need to fake a lavish lifestyle, but rather immerse yourself in environments, books, podcasts, and conversations that inspire growth. If your current circle only talks about problems, debt, and limitations, it's time to expand your network to include people who discuss solutions, investments, and opportunities. Remember, what you expose your mind to becomes your reality. And don't underestimate the power of gratitude. A wealth mindset is deeply rooted in the belief that there's already enough in the world, and that includes what you have right now. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good exercise. It rewires your brain to focus on possibilities rather than problems. Start every day by listing 3 things you're grateful for, and you'll notice your outlook shift. So here's the challenge. From this moment forward, Commit to thinking like the wealthy. Start seeing every obstacle as an opportunity, every setback as a setup for a comeback. Your mind is the most powerful asset you own. Train it to think abundantly, and the results will astonish you. Ready to see how this mindset can transform your life? Let's dive into the next step on your journey to success. Stay with me, you're about to unlock even more of your potential. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you challenged yourself, really challenged yourself? Not a minor inconvenience or a task you could complete on autopilot, but a goal so bold it made you nervous just thinking about it. If it's been a while, or if you've never truly pushed your limits, you're leaving untapped potential on the table. Here's the thing about challenges. They're not obstacles to avoid, they're opportunities to grow. Imagine a muscle. If you never push it, never strain it, it remains weak. But when you challenge that muscle, when you force it to lift heavier, to endure longer, it doesn't just survive, it grows stronger. Your mind and spirit work the same way. Without challenge, they stagnate. With challenge, they thrive. But let's be real, challenges aren't always comfortable. And that's the point. The discomfort you feel when you're stepping outside of your comfort zone is actually a sign that you're on the edge of growth. It's your mind adapting, learning, and preparing for the next level. So instead of fearing discomfort, embrace it. Let it be your guide, your signal that you're doing something worthwhile. Now, you might be wondering, what kind of challenge should I take on? It doesn't have to be monumental. Start with something that excites you but also feels slightly out of reach. Maybe it's committing to a fitness goal like running a marathon. Maybe it's a financial challenge like saving $5,000 in 6 months. Or perhaps it's a professional challenge like mastering a new skill or launching a side hustle. Whatever it is, make sure it's something that lights a spark in you. Because motivation is the fuel that will keep you going when the road gets tough. Here's another insight. Challenges aren't just about achieving a specific goal, they're about who you become in the process. Let me repeat that because it's crucial. The true reward of a challenge isn't the outcome, it's the transformation. You develop resilience, creativity, and emotional strength. You prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you imagined. And once you've unlocked that realization, no one can take it away from you. Let me give you an example. Think about people who've climbed Mount Everest. The summit is breathtaking, sure, but ask any climber what they value most about the experience, and they'll tell you it's the journey. It's the discipline they built while training, the problem-solving skills they honed during the climb, and the mental toughness they discovered when things got tough. The mountain is just a metaphor. Your Everest could be anything that pushes you beyond your current limits. But here's the catch. Challenges will test you. You'll face moments when you want to quit, when it feels like the effort isn't worth it. That's where emotional strength comes in. Every time you resist the urge to give up, you're strengthening your grit muscle. Psychologists have found that grit, perseverance, and passion for long-term goals is one of the strongest predictors of success. And grit isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. So, how do you stay motivated during a challenge? One strategy is to break it down into smaller milestones. Instead of focusing on the end goal, focus on the next step. Celebrate small victories along the way. They'll keep your momentum going. Another tip is to connect your challenge to a deeper purpose. Ask yourself, why does this matter to me? When your challenge aligns with your values and aspirations, it becomes more than just a task. It becomes a mission. And let's not forget the joy that comes with challenges. When you're pursuing a goal that excites you, when you see progress, when you overcome a hurdle that once seemed insurmountable, there's an undeniable sense of accomplishment. That joy is your reminder that you're alive, that you're growing, that you're moving closer to your potential. Now, let me ask you, what's one challenge you've been avoiding? What's one goal you've been putting off because it feels too big, too risky, or too uncomfortable? Take a moment to think about it. That challenge might just be the key to unlocking a stronger, more confident, more fulfilled version of yourself. Are you ready to take it on? Because what's waiting for you on the other side isn't just success, it's transformation. Let's keep going. Your journey is just beginning. Let's talk about something that might make you uncomfortable, your paycheck. For many people, that bi-weekly deposit represents stability, security, and safety. But here's the harsh truth. A paycheck, no matter how steady it feels, can also be a trap. It's a golden cage that keeps you comfortable enough to avoid taking risks, yet limited enough to never truly live the life you dream of. Now, don't get me wrong. Having a job is important. It puts food on the table and keeps the lights on. But depending solely on that job, on that single source of income, is like walking on a tightrope with no safety net. What happens if that job disappears tomorrow? Would you be prepared? Most people aren't. And that's why breaking free from the paycheck-to-paycheck mindset is essential. So, let me ask you, are you building a life where your financial well-being relies entirely on someone else's decision to keep you employed? If the answer is yes, it's time to rethink your approach. Financial independence doesn't come from job security. It comes from creating multiple streams of income, taking ownership of your financial future, and being willing to step outside the comfort zone of its safe job. Think about this. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. They don't rely on a single source, and they certainly don't put all their eggs in one basket. Because they understand that diversification isn't just for investments, it's for life. While most people are clinging to a job, hoping for a promotion or a raise, those with a wealth-building mindset are looking for ways to expand their earning potential beyond the 9 to 5. Now, you might be thinking, but I don't have time to start something new, or I'm not ready to take that kind of risk. Here's the thing. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow or dive headfirst into entrepreneurship. Start small. Maybe it's a side hustle like freelancing, selling a product, or monetizing a skill you already have. Or perhaps it's an investment strategy, like real estate or stocks, that allows your money to work for you. The key is to start thinking beyond the boundaries of your current job. And let's address the fear, because I know it's there. Fear of failure, fear of losing stability, fear of the unknown. But let me ask you this. What's scarier, taking a risk now and potentially building a future of abundance, or staying stuck in the same cycle, always wondering what could have been? Fear is natural, but don't let it paralyze you. Let it motivate you to prepare, to learn, to grow. One of the most liberating steps you can take is to shift your mindset from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, even if you don't own a business. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a company, it's about taking control of your financial destiny. It's about seeing yourself as the CEO of your life, making decisions that create opportunities and build wealth. So, how do you start? First, assess your skills and passions. What do you enjoy doing? What are you good at? Chances are, there's a way to turn those strengths into an income stream. Next, educate yourself. Read books, take courses, watch videos on personal finance and entrepreneurship. Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the more confident you'll feel about stepping out of your comfort zone. Here's another critical point. Don't underestimate the power of networking. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and encourage you to think bigger. The people you spend time with influence your mindset, your habits, and your opportunities. If everyone in your circle is stuck in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, it's time to expand your network and learn from those who've broken free. And remember, this isn't about abandoning your current job or throwing caution to the wind. It's about creating options. When you have multiple streams of income, you're no longer dependent on one employer, one paycheck, or one path. You have the freedom to choose, to take risks, and to pursue your passions without the fear of financial collapse. So, ask yourself, are you willing to trade the illusion of job security for the reality of financial freedom? Are you ready to stop playing it safe and start playing it smart? Because the truth is, the only safe job is the one you create for yourself. Let's keep moving forward. You're closer to freedom than you think. If I could give you a key to unlock unlimited potential in your financial life, would you take it? Here's the thing. That key exists, and it's not hidden. It's right there in front of you, sitting on the shelves of libraries, bookstores, or even on your phone. The key I'm talking about is education, more specifically, financial education. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you picked up a book or consumed content specifically about money, how it works, how it's built, and how it grows? If you're like most people, the answer might be not recently. And that's where the gap begins. Wealthy individuals have one thing in common: they're always learning. They know that the greatest investment they can make is in their own minds. Here's why financial education is so powerful. Money follows knowledge. The more you know about how to earn, save, invest, and multiply your money, the better equipped you are to take control of your financial future. Think about it. Why is it that some people seem to consistently make smart financial decisions while others struggle? It's not luck. It's education. They've taken the time to understand how wealth is built, and they've applied those principles in their lives. Now I get it. Talking about financial education might sound overwhelming. Maybe you're thinking, where do I even start? Start small. Start with one book, one article, one podcast. Some of the greatest minds in history have condensed decades of experience into the pages of books. Think about that. You can gain a lifetime of wisdom in just a few hours. That's the power of reading. Let me share a secret about the wealthy. They don't just read for entertainment, they read for growth. They study books on personal finance, investing, mindset, and success. Titles like Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, or Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill aren't just popular, they're blueprints. These books have transformed the way people think about money and have laid the foundation for countless financial success stories. But reading isn't just about gathering information, it's about application. Knowledge without action is useless. So, when you learn something new, whether it's a strategy for saving more effectively, a tip for investing wisely, or an insight about how to manage debt, implement it. Test it. Make it part of your routine. Over time, these small changes compound, just like interest, and lead to massive transformations. Here's another game changer. Don't limit yourself to books. In today's digital age, you have access to a wealth of resources, blogs, podcasts, online courses, YouTube channels, all designed to help you grow financially. Find a format that works for you and dive in. And remember, financial education isn't a one-time event, it's a lifelong journey. The economy changes, markets evolve, and new opportunities emerge. Staying informed keeps you ahead of the curve. Let's talk about mindset for a moment, because financial education isn't just about numbers, it's about how you think. Reading exposes you to new ideas and perspectives, helping you break free from limiting beliefs. For instance, if you've always thought, "I'll never be good with money," or "wealth is only for the lucky few," the right book can challenge and rewrite those narratives. It can inspire you to see possibilities where you once saw barriers. And it's not just about individual growth. It's about creating a ripple effect. When you educate yourself, you empower those around you. Imagine teaching your children or loved ones the financial principles you've learned. Imagine the legacy you could create, not just in wealth but in knowledge that spans generations. So, where do you go from here? Ask yourself, what's one area of my financial life I want to improve? Maybe it's understanding how to invest, learning to budget effectively, or exploring passive income streams. Whatever it is, commit to finding a resource, a book, a course, a mentor that can guide you. Start today. Even 10 minutes a day of focused learning can change the trajectory of your financial life. Remember, financial education is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the foundation on which you build freedom, security, and abundance. And the best part? It's accessible to everyone. The only question is, are you ready to pick up the key? Let's move forward. Your journey to financial mastery is just beginning. Have you ever caught yourself saying, "I'm just not good at that," or "I'll never have enough money"? If you have, you're not alone, but let me be clear. Those words are sabotaging your success. What you say to yourself matters. Your inner dialogue shapes your actions, your choices, and ultimately your results. That's where affirmations and visualizations come in. They're tools to rewrite the script running in your mind and align it with the future you want to create. Let's start with affirmations. These aren't just feel-good statements. They're declarations of intent that prime your brain for action. But here's the key: they have to be specific and actionable. Saying, "I want to be rich," doesn't do much because it's vague. Instead, say something like, "I am actively creating wealth by investing 20% of my income every month," or "I am disciplined in managing my finances and attracting new opportunities for growth." Notice the difference? Specific affirmations provide clarity and direction. They give your mind a target to focus on. Here's the science behind it. Your brain operates on patterns. When you repeatedly affirm something, your brain starts to accept it as truth. This is called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on repeated experiences and thoughts. By affirming positive, action-oriented beliefs, you're essentially training your mind to look for evidence that supports those beliefs. Over time, this rewiring leads to new habits, new actions, and new results. But affirmations alone aren't enough. They need to be paired with visualization, the practice of mentally rehearsing not just the outcome you want but the steps to get there. Many people make the mistake of only visualizing the end goal, the big house, the thriving business, or the freedom to travel. While it's great to dream big, the real power of visualization lies in focusing on the process. For example, let's say your goal is to build a six-figure business. Don't just picture the moment you hit your revenue target. Instead, visualize the steps you'll take to get there. Picture yourself waking up early to plan your day, reaching out to potential clients, delivering exceptional value, and managing your finances effectively. By mentally rehearsing these actions, you're preparing your brain to recognize opportunities and take the necessary steps in real life. Here's an exercise for you. Close your eyes and imagine your goal. Now, instead of just seeing the destination, imagine the journey. What obstacles might you face? How will you overcome them? What resources will you need? By visualizing these details, you're equipping yourself with the mental tools to succeed. You're essentially running a simulation in your mind, so when the time comes to act, it feels familiar. Another powerful aspect of visualization is its ability to tap into your emotions. When you can feel the joy, pride, or excitement of achieving your goals. Even before they happen, you're reinforcing your motivation to keep going. Emotions are a driving force behind behavior, and visualization helps you connect deeply with why your goals matter to you. But let's address a common misconception. Affirmations and visualizations are not magic. They won't work if you're not taking action. Think of them as the blueprint, not the construction. They guide you, inspire you, and keep you focused, but you still have to put in the work. The good news? When your mindset is aligned with your actions, the work feels more purposeful and less daunting. Now, let me challenge you to make this a daily practice. Every morning, spend 5 minutes affirming your goals out loud. Be intentional with your words. Then, spend another 5 minutes visualizing the steps you'll take that day to move closer to those goals. It doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be consistent. The compound effect of this practice can be life-changing. Here's a final question for you. What are you affirming to yourself every day, consciously or unconsciously? Are your thoughts empowering you or holding you back? If you want to change your life, start by changing your inner dialogue. Affirm your potential, visualize your success, and then take the steps to make it real. Let's keep this momentum going. Your journey to a better future continues now. Let's talk about the invisible enemy that might be sabotaging your success: limiting beliefs. These are the deep-seated thoughts and assumptions that whisper in the back of your mind, telling you, you can't do that, or that's not for people like you. They might seem harmless, but let me be clear, limiting beliefs are dangerous because they dictate your actions, often without you even realizing it. Let me ask you this. When you think about your goals, whether it's financial freedom, building a business, or achieving personal growth, what's the first thought that comes to mind? If it's an excuse, a doubt, or a fear, chances are you're facing a limiting belief. Maybe you've told yourself, I don't have the skills to do that, or I wasn't born into the right circumstances. Sound familiar? If so, it's time to break free. Here's the truth: limiting beliefs are not facts. They're stories you've told yourself or absorbed from others, stories that can be rewritten. But to rewrite them, you first have to identify them. Start by paying attention to your self-talk. What do you say to yourself when you encounter a challenge or an opportunity? Write those thoughts down. Once they're on paper, you'll be surprised at how many of them are rooted in fear or misinformation. Next, challenge those beliefs. Ask yourself, is this really true? Let's say your belief is, I'm terrible with money. Where did that idea come from? Did you make a mistake once and decide it defined you? Did someone tell you that when you were younger? And most importantly, is it an unchangeable fact, or is it something you can work on? Most of the time, you'll realize that your limiting beliefs are based on old experiences, not your current reality. Now, let's take this a step further. Replace your limiting beliefs with empowering ones. For every negative thought, create a positive counterthought. For example, instead of thinking, I'm terrible with money, start saying, I'm learning how to manage my finances effectively. Instead of, I'll never succeed, say, I'm capable of achieving my goals, one step at a time. The goal is not to lie to yourself, but to reframe your thoughts in a way that fosters growth and action. But here's the kicker. You can't just change your thoughts. You also need to change your environment. Surrounding yourself with positivity is like giving your mind the fertile soil it needs to grow. If you're constantly around people who doubt you, criticize you, or reinforce negative beliefs, it's going to be incredibly difficult to make progress. Seek out mentors, peers, or communities that uplift you and challenge you to think bigger. And don't stop there. Create a physical environment that reflects the success you're striving for. Declutter your space, add inspirational reminders like vision boards or affirmations, and make sure your surroundings motivate you to take action. Your environment should be a mirror of the life you're building, not the life you're trying to leave behind. Visualization is another powerful tool to overcome limiting beliefs. Picture yourself succeeding, not just in the distant future but today. Visualize yourself taking steps, overcoming challenges, and proving your doubts wrong. The more vividly you can see yourself succeeding, the more your brain starts to accept it as a possibility. And when your brain believes it, your actions will follow. But let me warn you, this process isn't always easy. Confronting your beliefs can be uncomfortable because it forces you to face your fears. You might uncover doubts that you've buried for years. But remember, growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. By challenging these beliefs, you're reclaiming your power and creating a foundation for success. So, let me ask you, what belief has been holding you back? What's one thought you've carried for years that no longer serves you? Take a moment to identify it. Then challenge it, replace it, and commit to creating an environment that reinforces the person you're becoming. This isn't just about thinking differently, it's about living differently. Your beliefs shape your reality, so choose them wisely. Let's move forward together. There's so much more waiting for you. Let me ask you something profound. Why are you here? Not just in this moment, watching this video or reading this text, but in life. What's your purpose? If your answer is unclear, you're not alone. Many people move through life without a defined purpose, drifting from one day to the next, focused solely on survival. But here's the truth. A life without purpose is a life unfulfilled. Purpose is what gives your efforts meaning, what transforms work into passion, and what turns struggles into stepping stones. Now, let's be clear, your purpose doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing mission. It doesn't mean you need to be the next Einstein or start a global movement. But it does mean living in alignment with something bigger than yourself. Purpose is about contributing, creating, and impacting the world in a way that resonates with your unique talents and values. It's what drives you to get out of bed every morning with energy and intention. Here's the thing, when you're living with purpose, excellence becomes your natural state. Because you're no longer just going through the motions. You're striving, growing, and pushing boundaries, not because someone else expects it, but because you do. Excellence isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up as the best version of yourself, consistently, and challenging yourself to grow a little more every day. Let me ask you this, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? When your story is told, what do you want people to say about you? These aren't hypothetical questions, they're the foundation of purposeful living. When you define the legacy you want to create, you gain clarity on how to act today. Whether it's being a role model for your children, creating something valuable for your community, or building a business that changes lives, your purpose is your compass. But here's where many people get stuck. They think purpose is something they have to find, as if it's hidden somewhere waiting to be discovered. The reality is, purpose isn't found, it's created. It starts with a decision to align your actions with your values and to seek ways to contribute beyond yourself. Purpose grows as you take steps forward, not as you wait for the perfect moment or a lightning bolt of inspiration. Living with purpose requires courage. It means stepping out of your comfort zone, embracing risks, and pursuing a vision that might scare you. But here's the reward. When you live with purpose, obstacles lose their power to derail you. Challenges become fuel, and setbacks become lessons, because you're anchored in something bigger than temporary discomfort. Now, let's talk about excellence. Excellence is a mindset. It's about refusing to settle for mediocrity and constantly striving to improve. But excellence isn't about competition with others. It's about competing with yourself. Every day, ask yourself, how can I do this better? How can I grow from this experience? How can I bring more value to the people around me? Those questions, when answered consistently, elevate you from average to extraordinary. But let's get practical. How do you live with purpose and pursue excellence in your daily life? First, start by identifying what matters most to you. What are your core values? What kind of impact do you want to make? Write it down. Clarity is power. Once you know your purpose, integrate it into everything you do. If you're an employee, approach your work with intention, knowing that your efforts contribute to something greater. If you're an entrepreneur, let your purpose guide your business decisions and interactions. Second, commit to lifelong growth. Excellence isn't a destination, it's a journey. Read, learn, experiment, and seek feedback. Surround yourself with people who challenge you and inspire you to be better. Excellence thrives in the presence of accountability and ambition. Finally, remember this: purpose and excellence are not about perfection. You will make mistakes, face doubts, and encounter failures. But when you're aligned with your purpose, those moments become part of your story, not the end of it. They become the proof that you dared to try, to stretch, and to aim higher. So, let me ask you, are you ready to live for something bigger than yourself? Are you prepared to step into excellence, not for the applause but for the satisfaction of knowing you gave your best? If the answer is yes, then take the next step, no matter how small. Because a life of purpose and excellence doesn't just happen, it's built, one intentional choice at a time. Let's keep building yours. Let's get real for a moment. Success isn't a straight line. It's messy, unpredictable, and filled with roadblocks that will test you in ways you never imagined. And this is where most people give up. But here's the truth. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent, luck, or resources, it's perseverance. Perseverance is what keeps you moving forward when the path gets tough. It's the quiet, unshakable determination that whispers, "Keep going. You're closer than you think." Let me ask you this: how do you react when life throws a curveball? When your plans fall apart, when progress feels slow, when doubt creeps in, what do? These moments are the defining ones. They're where growth happens, where grit is forged. Perseverance isn't about never falling. It's about always getting back up, no matter how many times you're knocked down. Here's something powerful to remember: every challenge you face is a stepping stone. Think of the most successful people you admire. Do you think their journeys were easy? Absolutely not. They faced setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt, just like you. But they kept going. They turned their obstacles into opportunities, their failures into lessons. And you can too. But perseverance isn't just about grinding through hard times. It's also about trusting the process. Sometimes, progress is invisible. You're planting seeds, but you don't see the growth yet. It's easy to get frustrated and think your efforts are in vain. But let me remind you, the bamboo plant spends years growing roots before it ever breaks the surface. Then, almost overnight, it shoots up. Your journey might be the same. Keep watering those roots. Your breakthrough is coming. Now, let's talk about gratitude. If perseverance is the fuel that keeps you moving, gratitude is the compass that keeps you grounded. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present, from lack to abundance. And here's the incredible thing. When you focus on what you have, you create space for more to come into your life. Gratitude isn't just about feeling good, it's a tool for resilience. When you take time to acknowledge the positives, even in difficult situations, you're training your mind to see possibilities rather than problems. You're rewiring your brain to look for solutions and opportunities. Gratitude gives you strength because it reminds you of everything you've already overcome, everything you've already achieved. Let me challenge you, start and end each day with gratitude. It doesn't have to be complicated. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every morning. They can be big, like a supportive family, or small, like a great cup of coffee or a moment of laughter. At night, reflect on the victories of the day, no matter how small. Did you take a step toward your goal? Did you learn something new? These moments matter. And here's a powerful combination. Use gratitude to fuel your perseverance. When you're in the thick of a challenge, take a moment to step back and say, I'm grateful for this struggle because it's teaching me resilience. Gratitude turns hardships into lessons, setbacks into stepping stones. It gives you perspective and reminds you that every storm you've weathered has prepared you for the one you're facing now. One of the most inspiring things about perseverance and gratitude is how they feed into each other. Perseverance keeps you moving, and gratitude keeps you inspired. Together, they create unstoppable momentum. When you're grateful, you find joy in the journey, not just the destination. And when you persevere, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you imagined. So let me ask you, what are you persevering through right now? What's the challenge that's testing you, stretching you, refining you? And in the midst of that challenge, what can you be grateful for? Take a moment to reflect, because the answers to these questions hold the key to your next breakthrough. Remember this, perseverance and gratitude aren't just traits, they're choices. And every day you have the power to choose them. So choose to keep going. Choose to see the good. Choose to believe that your best days are still ahead. Because they are. Let's keep moving forward. You're on the brink of something extraordinary. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on something profound. The incredible power of one person. Think about it. Every great movement, every act of change, every ripple that has transformed lives, started with someone who decided to act. Now, imagine what would happen if you made that decision. Imagine the impact you could create, not just in your own life but in the lives of those around you. The truth is, the world doesn't need superheroes. It needs ordinary people with extraordinary vision. People like you. Here's where it all begins, with you. Transformation isn't about waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, or the right circumstances. It's about starting where you are with what you have and deciding to be better today than you were yesterday. When you grow, the world around you grows. When you lift yourself, you lift others. This is how change happens, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Let me ask you something important. What kind of legacy do you want to leave? Legacy isn't just about wealth or achievements. It's about the values you live by and the lives you touch. It's the kindness you show, the encouragement you give, and the example you set. Legacy is what people remember when they think of you. Not the material possessions, but the heart and soul you invested in making the world a little better. Building a legacy of kindness, compassion, and generosity doesn't require grand gestures. It starts with small, intentional actions. A kind word to someone who's struggling. A helping hand when it's least expected. A commitment to share your knowledge, skills, or resources to uplift others. These moments, though seemingly small, create waves that travel farther than you'll ever know. But here's the thing. To give your best to the world, you first have to become your best self. That means committing to lifelong growth, embracing challenges, and staying true to your values. It means recognizing that your potential is limitless, Not because you're perfect, but because you're willing to learn, adapt, and persevere. Every step you take toward becoming a better version of yourself is a step toward transforming the world. And let's not forget this. The world doesn't need perfection, it needs authenticity. It needs people who are willing to show up, flaws and all, and say, I'm here to make a difference. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start. Take that first step, no matter how small it feels, and trust that it will lead to something bigger than you can imagine. As you go forward, remember this. Your life is a story, and you are the author. Every choice you make, every action you take, is a chapter. Will your story be one of courage, growth, and contribution? Will it inspire others to rise, to dream, to believe in what's possible? That choice is yours, and it begins today. So, let me challenge you. Decide right now to make an impact. Decide to transform your mindset, your habits, your actions, not just for yourself but for the people who are watching, learning, and drawing strength from your example. Because make no mistake, someone is watching. Someone is waiting for you to show them what's possible. And as you take this journey, don't forget to be kind to yourself. Celebrate your progress, embrace your imperfections, and stay grateful for every step. Gratitude isn't just about looking back. It's about recognizing the abundance that exists right now and using it to fuel your future. The world is waiting for you, not for a perfect version of you, but for the real, raw, determined you who dares to dream and act. Transform the world by transforming yourself. Leave a legacy of love, generosity, and hope. Because at the end of the day, the measure of your life won't be in the things you've accumulated, but in the hearts you've touched. Now is your time. Your moment to rise. Your chance to be the difference. Are you ready? Let's make it happen, together.